So we are here with Jack Hill of Flying Frog Productions, and no trip to the 2011 GenCon would be complete without a trip to this booth because you have a massive game. And by massive, I mean nobody's going to be able to take this home if they flew here, because you would have to pay an extra $50, I think, to get this home because it's so massive. And of course, we're talking about Fortune and Glory. So Jack, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about this awesomely gorgeous game?
It is pretty massive. We thought about a promotion where we could just sell handles that we could put on it, and it could be like a suitcase, so you could just carry it. That would be perfect.
But
we didn't do that. So Fortune and Glory, the Cliffhanger Game, it's our brand newest game, and it's our 5th game and our biggest by far. It's over twice the size of all of our previous games.
Awesome.
You know. So this is one that's very near and dear to our hearts. People who are fans of Flying Frog games probably know that we love, you know, a lot of movies, you know, adventures, like books, media, all of that stuff. And each of our games is sort of a celebration of a particular genre.
Cool.
Last Night on Earth, it's everything we love about horror movies, zombie movies, all that, all those typical tropes and character archetypes that you see, all of that love and passion for zombie movies put into a game to give a player the feeling like they're thrown into a great zombie movie.
Right.
We've done the exact same thing here, but for pulp adventure movies, right?
Awesome.
So everything from historically those pulp serials like from the 40s, where you know like G-Man versus the Black Dragon, or Zombies of the Stratosphere, that kind of those old cliffhanger serials where they would show like one a week in the theater, and at the end of the episode, the Zeppelin horribly blows up, and you're sure that the hero is dead. There's no way he could escape. And then when you come back the next week and pay your nickel or whatever they did, you know, they show the same footage, but they rewind a second and they show you jumping to safety, and it's like, he jumped out just before the Zeppelin blew up.
Exactly.
And so it's all of that stuff, but then also more modern things. We love The Shadow and The Rocketeer, and of course Indiana Jones.
Bingo.
And so this has all of our love of that, like cliffhanger pulp adventure, larger than life heroes, spanning the globe, searching for lost treasures and artifacts, fighting Nazis, punching out mobsters, and you know, there's car chases and sneaking on Zeppelins, and there's character villains. The game has everything, and more.
Awesome.
Everything and more.
And I've heard amazing things about how you guys actually carry out that cliffhanger in your mechanics.
Yes. Well, I can take you through just kind of a little sample.
That would be awesome.
So this is the board, and the board is gigantic.
It is.
One of the reasons we have such a big box is because we have such a big board. And so when you're going to play, the board is sort of a stylized version of the globe.
Cool.
And you start the game by populating the world with adventures and artifacts that are out there. So we draw an artifact from the artifact deck, an adventure from the adventure deck, and these get paired together. So this one right here is the Valley of the Dead.
Nice.
And so it's worth 6 fortune, and 3 dangers have to be overcome to get the fortune. This particular one is a little odd in that it is a temple, meaning that when you choose a location for where this is on the map, this one's in Amazon Falls, then you actually put a temple down, and the Valley of the Dead, anyone can go here and try to plunder the temple for gold.
Excellent.
But the more you plunder it, then the more chance it has of collapsing. So as heroes go in there, and maybe they're racing against other heroes or maybe villains, then it increases the chances of the whole thing coming down on you.
Awesome.
So let's do another one that maybe is not a temple. So here is the Gauntlet of Ferox. So this is an item, and it's worth 6 fortune, and you have to overcome 5 dangers to get it.
Cool.
So let's see where it might lie. The Gauntlet of Ferox is in the heart of Africa. The heart of Africa. So what you do is you'll take matching skull counters.
Okay.
You put one on the Gauntlet of Ferox and one in the heart of Africa. And now when a player goes there in search of the Gauntlet of Ferox, we usually say, here, this is the daring photographer, Sharon Hunter. And when Sharon Hunter gets here, we usually say, it's Sharon Hunter and the Gauntlet of Ferox. And so it generates the adventure that you're on.
Absolutely.
And then when you're on that adventure, you have to do these dangers I talked about. So you're going to have to overcome 5 dangers. The dangers, we have a deck of them. I'll just grab a couple here to show you. So here's an example one. So we draw a danger, and it's cargo plane mishap.
Da, da, da.
Something's not right. Your flight has been sabotaged. Find a way out of this mid-air predicament. So she has to make a cunning test. If she fails this, then it flips over and it becomes, do you know how to fly?
Awesome.
And so all of a sudden, you maybe you were sleeping or whatever, you thought everything was good. You wake up, the pilot's gone, and you're thinking, oh no, does anyone know how to fly this plane? And so this is the cliffhanger. So this is how the kind of dangers and cliffhangers
Excellent.
work. If you get your way out of this one, you could decide, do you want to stop, end your turn, keep all the glory that you've been earning along the way, or do you want to risk everything and push on to the next danger?
Yeah, let's risk it.
If you do hidden trap, spot the pressure plates in the floor to find a way across the densely packed pattern of stones and avoid springing the trap. So again, like a nice trap on the floor. This is very Indiana Jones type stuff.
That's great.
And if you were to fail it, pit of fire, where you go into the pit of fire. So we have all sorts of stuff like this. There's car chases, there's Nazis, there's ancient puzzles, underwater diving where you can get attacked by a giant squid.
Awesome.
It has it all, and that sort of presents the cliffhanger portion of things.
Cool.
So when you're going along, everything's going fine, you're sailing through these adventures, you did great in the car chase and maybe in the plane chase or whatever, and then all of a sudden, cargo plane mishap. Do you know how to fly this thing? And it goes to a cliffhanger, and it goes on to the next person's turn, and you're going, wait, what happens to me? And it's like, we'll find out when it comes back to your turn.
That's
and it
great.
leaves you on a cliffhanger. So we have some of the other miniatures here, and
Yeah,
you really
the
have to
minis
see
are
them. It's
gorgeous.
very cool. This right here is the Nazi Zeppelin.
How
and,
awesome is that?
It fully roves over the board, and each turn, I can show you the movement. It's actually very
okay,
simple.
cool.
So let's just say it's here in the Sahara. Let's say it starts there. So each turn you basically draw a location card. These represent locations all around the board.
Cool.
It's ancient mountains, and you roll a die for how far it can go. It can go 2. So it goes 2 spaces toward the ancient mountains. If it doesn't make it, that's the end of the turn. It's just moving around the board, sort of, spreading doom and gloom, as the
Excellent.
Nazis like to do.
Perfect.
But if it did reach it, then it's like, excellent, we've reached our location, and it kicks out a Nazi soldier. And so it's roaming the globe, spreading darkness, kicking out Nazi soldiers, and occupying territory.
Getting in the way of you collecting all that wonderful stuff.
Yes, but the best part about it is every single turn in the end phase, when this is going around, you put another gold counter on top of it, and it just keeps building up gold as it's traveling the globe, oppressing people and taking their gold. And so as a hero, you can go to the same space as it and sneak on board and then punch out Nazis and take the gold. So that's
Great.
a lot of fun, besides just the normal adventures and artifacts you're trying to
Cool.
get, that kind of thing. We didn't want to do this game halfway in any way. That's why we waited until it's our 5th game, because we wanted to get the other ones under our belt. We wanted to do it right, and this was such a massive undertaking. We've actually been gathering up costumes and items and props for about 10 years for this.
Wow.
We've been casting for about 5 years, and that was really odd, because we had this, it's one of our very near and dear to us, our properties. And so we had these characters, and so we've been casting along the way, and we've said, like, I mean, literally, 5 years ago, oh my God, you would be perfect for this game we want to do. Will you agree to do it? And they're like, well, okay, I guess. And then 5 years later, I made a call, and it's like, do you remember 5 years ago, someone contacted you to play a character in a game? And they're like, who is this?
Right.
And we got everybody, and it turned out fantastic. By far our largest game, by far our largest shoot. We have so many characters in this game. So there's 8 playable heroes that you can play.
Cool.
There's 6 playable not playable. There's 6 character villains.
Nice.
And then generic enemies that go along with that. So there's 2 vile organizations in it, the Nazis and the Mob. And for the Mob, they have 3 characters. This one is one right here. This is Vanessa Love. She's a mob femme fatale. She's a seductive singer. And here's Icebox Eddie. He's got a nice Tommy gun there, and he's a hitman for the Mob.
Sweet.
There's also Franco Fedici, and he's a mob boss. Need I say more?
Exactly.
And then for the Nazis, we've got Colonel Stahl, and I love how this figure turned out.
Perfect.
He's, the Nazi commander.
Yeah.
We've got Tressa, who's a Nazi femme fatale. And last but not least, the occult expert, Herr Teufel, which in German means Mr. Devil.
Nice.
So perfect for that. And then we've got a huge bag full of Nazi soldiers, mobster thugs, and then also Mayan temples. So the one part that I didn't talk about much was the coins. So
Sweet.
in the game, you're after fortune and glory, literally. And we have these in coin form. So the crystal blue ones are glory, and the gold ones, of course, are fortune.
Cool.
So the goal of the game is usually to get 20 fortune. but you can scale the number based on how many players you have or how long a game you want to play.
Cool.
And the mode of game that you're playing. Glory you're collecting up, that's a lot easier to get, but it's the main currency of the game. You can spend your glory to get allies or gear or things like that. Some people say, like, well, wait, shouldn't it be fortune lets you buy things because that's money, right?
Right.
But it makes sense if you think about it, because this is glory. So as you're getting more glory, you're having big adventures, you can lure allies to join you and stuff. It does make sense.
Absolutely.
So you're earning fortune and glory, you're stealing it from other people, you're getting artifacts, you're selling stuff, you're going into temples and trying to steal gold and get all this stuff. And this is such an important part of the game. It's really the heart and soul of the game. So we felt very, very strongly that we wanted to have miniatures for these. I mean, the first thought was when we were pricing this out, how are we going to do this game? It's giant, and we want miniatures for these things. We don't just want counters for the bad guys. We want to have a Zeppelin, and we want these to be miniatures. And we do have a 1-piece and a 5-piece, and on one side they look like ink and gold.
Absolutely.
And the other side, we've got our flying frog character with a Roman numeral 1 and V for 5 pieces and 1 pieces, and we have those both for fortune and glory. And this is so important to us because it is passed around so much. It's what you're striving for. It's the whole heart and soul of the game. And so it's, again, one of the reasons why we had to do a large boxed game and why it goes up to a higher price point.
Exactly.
The game is $99.95. Okay. It is our highest priced game, and we felt like, wow, if we're going to do one of these big coffin box games, it needs to be worthwhile.
Exactly.
Because we've talked to you guys before and done interviews, and I think I said then, we're gamers first and foremost, and all of our decisions are based on what we would want as gamers. We're making games that we want to play, and we're making decisions based on what we would want to pay, and what we would want to do. So we were like, well, there's no higher price margin on this game. It's just, this is how much it costs for us to make this game.
Right.
And we wanted to make it kind of deluxe. We wanted to make it big.
Well, I don't think anybody would argue that $100 is too much, because everything is top shelf that I can see in this. The artwork, as usual, is gorgeous, so I don't think it's overpriced in any way, shape, or form.
Well, thank you very much. I've bought a number of $100 games.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times it's chock full and it feels great. But there have been occasions where you open the box and you're like, whoa, this is a lot of air.
Right.
And I felt bad about it. And so, we felt really strongly like, hey, we want someone to buy it and feel great about it. And so, the first thing, since this is visual, I will allow you to hold this. And I'm sorry, that's probably too much for you. Here, I'll just. So we wanted it to be massive and just chuck filled. And so I think we put something together that we're very proud to put out. And the game actually comes out in the fall. It should be in
stores. That was my next question.
Toward the end of September.
Sweet.
We did print up a limited number for GenCon so that we could have it here early as a GenCon preview.
Nice.
And we printed as many as we could get in time. We brought them here, and it's been a crazy, overwhelming response. And so we couldn't be happier. It's been fantastic. And Last Night on Earth was our first game. We ended up doing that one first. We had a bunch of them built up. I think we talked about this last time we did an interview with you guys. We spent about 10 years gearing up, like building resources, making contacts, finding a manufacturing place in China that could make the miniatures to the quality we would want, all of that good stuff. And in that time, we generated about 16 finished games. And so when it came time to actually put art and put out our first game, we really arm wrestled over which game was going to come out, because we all have our favorites, and I have to say I won, because Last Night on Earth is,
awesome.
At the time anyway, my absolute favorite game.
Right.
And so I'm so glad that we did, because as it turns out, there are a lot of zombie fans. I don't know.
There are a few out there.
Yeah, there's more than a couple. I just love zombie movies, and I thought, well, this game's really fun, and I love zombie movies. But what I was not ready for in any way was the rabid zombie fans, and we really haven't seen anything like that until Fortune and Glory. And as it turns out, I think there might be just as many Indiana Jones fans as there are zombie fans.
Absolutely.
And so it's been an overwhelming response, and people have been coming out and saying, like, I saw people playing on this on the floor in the hall, and I had to come check it out. And we're like, wow, they're playing on the floor? I'm going to go see how it goes.
Sweet.
We love it. And it's just been a lot of fun. So we're so excited because these games exist for us, and we play them behind the scenes in like pre-production form.
Right.
For us, they're real, but no one else knows about them. And so it's always strange to us every time a game goes out, because all of a sudden there's pictures of people around the world playing the game. And every single time, it's just as
It's
weird
absolutely.
and cool. And so we kind of feel like, well, we already play these, but this is our chance to share them with gamers
Exactly.
and whatever. And so we're so excited to share fortune and glory with the other gamers out there because, like I said, it's very near and dear to our hearts.
Well, as a testament to how good this game has to be, I don't know if we've been picking it up, but you can hear the screams and shouts behind us of the people being excited and playing this game. So I think that's a perfect testament to how well you guys have done.
I appreciate that. Yeah, people have just been really, really completely overwhelming with their response, and we've been so excited. I'm losing my voice because, because we get excited.
Absolutely. Well, Jack, thank you very much
No problem
for spending
at all.
a couple minutes with us. Have a great rest of the show.
Okay.
Cool.
Actually, can I talk about one other new thing?
Absolutely,
Since you guys
please.
are covering Gen Con.
Please.
I was just going to let you know about another new product that we have. We have a lot of fans for Invasion from Outer Space. That's our Martian game.
Right.
And so we just sort of announced / gave a preview here at Gen Con of a new supplement for it that we have on our web store.
Okay.
It's called Cloaked Martian Scouts.
Nice.
And these guys are
Ooh, nice.
clear Martians. You probably can't pick it up on the camera, but they're clear Martian scouts, and they run very differently. They don't have to be in a pack. They're like one-man armies.
Okay.
And they're not replenishable. So once they're dead, but they're really powerful when they're alive. And so these are going to come out in the fall, but
Okay.
we actually have a limited number here at Gen Con, so we're
Sweet.
selling them as a pre-sale. And what this means to you is we are going to give you guys 3 sets of them so that you can give them to your listeners.
Awesome.
Anybody, just have a contest or however you guys
Okay.
want to do it. And
Sweet.
we're going to send some of these with you so that you guys can get in on the exclusive, get it before you can buy it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much,
All
man.
right,
That is
excellent.
great.
No problem at
That
all.
is great.
We love you guys, and it's good. It's good to see you.
Excellent. Well, thank you again for your time. Thank you very much.
No problem at all. All right. Thanks.